I am making an earthbound deck profile. I have honestly loved the earthbound monsters since they were first released in with the Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D series, and then in I believe it was in sometime in 2016. I want to say it was late January, early February when the Earthbound servants were revealed, and I'm honestly happy that 8 years later they're finally printed. And I have been playtesting this deck for months, and I really like how it works. I just need to do a little bit of improving as I realize if I can't resolve one of the spell cards, then I'm kind of in trouble. But I still really like how the deck plays, so I figured I'd go ahead and make a deck profile since I have most of what I need. I say most of because had I had ordered one of the or three copies of one of the cards, but I just didn't get any. So, and I just don't want to wait for them to show up. Anyway, first for the monsters, I play 3 copies of Earthbound Prisoner Groundskeeper or Groundkeeper. I can't remember if it's ground or grounds. Anyway, Prisoner Groundkeeper has the effect that when this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 5 or lower Earthbound monster from your deck. And then if there's a field spell in play, then Earthbound monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. And you can only use that effect, or the summoning effect of Groundkeeper once per turn. Make sure there's not anything else like that. Okay, and then the last part of Groundskeeper is that when it summons an Earthbound monster with its effect, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for Fusion and Synchro monsters. Next, I play 3 copies of Earthbound Prisoner Linewalker. Prisoner Linewalker has the effect that when it is summoned, you can add Harmonic Synchro Fusion or Earthbound Prison from your deck to your hand. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard to then be able to target one opponent's monster that's special summoned from the extra deck, return it to the extra deck, and then your opponent special summons one monster with the same name. Which, that effect will hardly ever be used, but you can use it with the effect of your Earthbound Servant, Geo Griffin. However, I believe in order to use that effect, you have to control a level 5 or higher Earthbound. Let's see, where is it? Okay, you have to control level 6 or higher. Which, that means you have to control an Earthbound Servant or an Earthbound Immortal. And then next, I play 3 copies of Earthbound Prisoner Stonesweeper. Earthbound Prisoner Stonesweeper has the effect that you can special summon it from your hand if there's a field spell in play. And then it also has the effect you can discard it to add I believe it has to be level 4 or lower Fiend Tuner. You got a level 3 or lower Fiend Tuner. So you can discard it to add Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper. You can normal summon Groundkeeper, special summon Stonesweeper from deck or graveyard. And then if you already have the deck's main spell card, then you can already do another play. Or then you can then do fun things. And then Stonesweeper is a hard once per turn when special summoning from your hand with its effect because of there being a field spell. Anyway, then I play 1 copy of Earthbound Immortal, Wira Kocharaska. Wira Kocharaska has the effect that if there's not a field spell in play, it self-destructs. It cannot be targeted for attacks. It can attack your opponent directly. And all the Immortals share the effect that you can only have 1 Earthbound Immortal in play. And then Wira Kocharaska has the unique effect of when it is normal summoned, you can target 3 of your cards, shuffle them into your deck, or you can target up to 3 of your cards, shuffle them into the deck, and your opponent discards the same number of cards. Then I play 1 copy of Earthbound Immortal Asilapiscu. Asilapiscu has the effect that when it leaves the field, then it destroys all monsters your opponent controls and inflicts 800 damage per monster destroyed, which I honestly really like using with one of the later trap cards. Then I play one copy of Kokoraya. Kokoraya has the effect that when it leaves the field, it destroys every other card in play. And I should probably mention now, I am only going over the effects that that are unique to them, as all the immortals share the effect of if there's no field spell, destroy it. There can only be one Earthbound immortal. They can attack directly and cannot be targeted for attacks. Then I also play one copy of Earthbound immortal Kusulu. Kusulu has the effect that if it would be destroyed in battle, you contribute one other monster that you control, so then have your opponent's life points, and also Kusulu is not destroyed. Then I play one copy of Earthbound immortal Chaku Chalua. Chaku Chalua has actually two unique effects, where if it's in defense mode, your opponent's battle phase is skipped, and then once per turn you can activate its effect to inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of its defense points. However, if you use this effect, Chaku Chalua cannot attack that turn. Then I play one copy of Earthbound immortal Kokopakapu. Kokopakapu has the effect that if it destroys a monster in battle, your opponent takes damage equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. And then lastly, I play one copy of Earthbound immortal Uru. Uru has the effect you contribute one monster you control. Take control of an opponent's monster until the end of the turn. And for hand traps, I play 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird has the effect that if your opponent adds a card from their deck to the hand during the main phase, you can activate this effect to discard it, and then your opponent cannot add cards from the deck to their hand for the rest of the turn. Then I play 3 copies of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Ghost Bell just lets you negate anything that would summon from grave, banish from grave, or return from grave to deck. Okay, I would add a card from grave to hand, deck, or extra deck. Honestly, I just use playing Ghost Bell just because it's able to negate Bestials. It's able to negate Called by the Grave. I just figured it'd be a useful card to have available. And then I also play 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Ash Blossom just says no to anything that would move a card from deck by sending it to grave, summoning, or adding to hand. Then for the spells, I play 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This will just let you send an Earthbound Immortal from deck to grave, so you can then summon it back off of Geo Griffin. 1 copy of 1 for 1. This will let you special summon Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper from deck, and then let you special summon Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper. Then I play 1 copy of Terraforming. This just lets you add a field spell from your deck to your hand. Then I play 1 copy of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave just lets you target 1 effect monster in your opponent's grave, banish it, and then neither player can activate cards or effects that are the same as that card, and they're also negated. Usually this is used in the way of your opponent activates a hand trap, like Ash Blossom. You chain this to negate the Ash Blossom. Then I play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. I'm honestly thinking about either taking Triple Tactics Talent out of the deck entirely for a 40-card deck, or replacing them with, what was it? Set Rotation and Magical Midbreaker Field. I honestly haven't decided which one I'll do, but Triple Tactics Talent has the effect that your opponent activates a monster effect in the main phase, such as a hand trap. Then you can activate it to then declare 1 of 3 effects, and then use that effect you want, where you can either draw 2 cards, take control of an opponent's monsters at the end of the turn, or look at your opponent's hand and shuffle a card back into the deck. Then next, I play 3 copies of Earthbound Prison. Earthbound Prison has the effect that when it's activated, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, negates effects while Earthbound Prison's in play. And then once per turn, you get an additional normal summon of an Earthbound monster. And lastly, if this card leaves the field because of an opponent's card, Then have your opponent's life points indicate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls. Which, that last part is actually really funny, as a couple of my friends have actually gotten rid of Earthbound Prison because I targeted an important monster for them. And they didn't realize that their life points would have been halved and their entire board was negated. And lastly, for the spells, I play 3 copies of Harmonic Synchrofusion. This card isn't an Earthbound card in name, but it might as well be, as it's the card that lets Earthbound do most of their funny things. But Earthbound Fusion has the... Earthbound Fusion. Harmonic Synchrofusion. Earthbound Fusion doesn't release till February. But Harmonic Synchrofusion has the effect of you tribute 2 monsters you control for cost to one tuner and 1 non-tuner, to then special summon from your extra deck 2 monsters, 1 fusion, 1 synchro that you can summon using just those 2 monsters. And I believe... And then if you use this card, you can... Or you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for fusion and synchro for the rest of for the entire turn. For the traps, I play 2 copies of Earthbound Release. Earthbound Release has the effect that when your opponent special summons a level 6 or higher monster, then you contribute 1 level 10 Earthbound monster you control, which is any of the Immortals or the last monster I go over in the extra deck. And then destroy all monsters your opponent controls, and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to their combined original attack. And you can only activate 1 Earthbound... Oh, no, it doesn't have that part. You can activate as many Earthbound Release in 1 turn as you want, as long as your opponent keeps summoning level 6 or higher monsters, and you still have a bunch of level 10 Earthbounds. And finally, just because almost all the Earthbound Immortals fit it, I play 3 copies of Eradicator Epidemic Virus, as much as one of my friends hates me for it. But Eradicator has the effect that you contribute a dark monster that has 2,500 or more attack, declare either spell or trap, and then your opponent reveals their hand, every card they draw, and any set cards in their spell and trap zone, and then all cards that are declared type are destroyed, and they keep revealing the cards they draw until their third and end phase after its activation. And that is it for the main deck. Like I said, it's a 42 card deck, and I'll either take out or replace the triple text talent, as it did not come in handy as much as I thought it would. For the extra deck, I play 3 copies of Earthbound Servant Geo Gremlin. Geo Gremlin has the effect that has 2 effects, where once per turn you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, and they choose 1 of 2 effects to apply, which is they either destroy that monster, or you gain life points equal to half of that monster's attack. And then its second effect is during the battle phase, you can activate its effect as a quick effect to be able to banish from your field or grave monsters to fusion summon an Earthbound fusion monster. And then next, I play 3 copies of Earthbound Servant Geo Griffin. Geo Griffin's the card I didn't get in the mail like I was supposed to, but I got too impatient to just wait for them to arrive. But Geo Griffin is a level 8 Dark Fiend with 2,500 attack and I believe 2,000 defense. Though I could easily be wrong about that. But Geo Griffin has the effect that once per turn, quick effect, you can target 1 Earthbound monster in your graveyard except for Earthbound Servant Geo Griffin. Special summon it to your field and defense position. And then if Geo Griffin leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can then inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Earthbound monster you control or in your graveyard. Or for each Earthbound monster you control and in your graveyard. And you can only use each effect of Earthbound Servant Geo Griffin once per turn. And then next, I play 3 copies of Earthbound Servant Geo Gremlina. Geo Gremlina has the effect that when it's fusion summoned, you can add 1 Earthbound monster from your deck to your hand. And then if an opponent's monster is destroyed by card effect, you can target the destroyed monster And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack in the graveyard. Geo Gremlin and Geo Gremlina are usually on the field at the same time, which is good because you use Gremlin, target an opponent's monster, and if they aren't smart enough to give you life points, then they will take damage. Like, I used it against someone today that was playing I believe he was playing Tri-Brigade Melfi. He might be playing more than that, I don't remember. But I targeted his Link 4, he destroyed it, and then I used Geo Gremlina to inflict 3,000 damage. I don't remember its full name, I just remember it's Ill Omen. And then Geo Gremlina's last effect is it can target a dark synchro monster you control to be able to have it be able to attack directly with that turn. And then I play 3 copies of Earthbound Servant Geo Kraken. Geo Kraken has the effect that when it's summoned, you can add a field spell from your deck to your hand. And then if your opponent special summons a monster, you can destroy, I believe it's all monsters your opponent controls. If a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck, except in a damage step, you destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible that were special summoned this turn. And if you do, inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. And you can only use each effect of Earthbound Servant Geo Kraken once per turn. But Geo Kraken is the reason that Earthbound Prisoner Linewalker has its grave effect, as you would use it so that you can return opponent's monster to the extra deck, then special summon it again, and then Geo Kraken can destroy it and inflict 800 damage. Or during your opponent's turn, you can just wait, and when your opponent special summon like 2 or 3 monsters in the extra deck, you can just use Geo Kraken to destroy all of them and inflict 800 per monster destroyed. And finally, for the extra deck, I play 3 copies of Earthbound Servant Geo Grasha. Geo Grasha has the effect that when it battles an opponent's monster, you reduce that monster's attack to 0. And then if Geo Grasha leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon an Earthbound monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. However, you cannot special summon another Earthbound Servant Geo Grasha. Okay, you did not ignore summoning conditions. I just think of that because I was playing Dino earlier. And the other thing I forgot to mention with Geo Grasha is that it must be fusion summoned. So you can't just get rid of Grasha and then have Geo Griffin special summon it back to the field. But overall, I still think Geo Grasha is one of the better monsters in this deck. So just the fact that it's 3,000 body. If it battles a monster, it reduces all your opponent's monsters to 0. And then if it leaves the field, it floats into a potential immortal or a Earthbound Servant Geo Gremlin to summon another Geo Grasha. But that is it for my Earthbound deck profile. If you have any ideas what decks I see face each other, such as Red Dragon Archfiend versus Earthbound, or decks like to see me built in the future, or any ideas for improving the deck, like I am planning on making a Chimera version of this deck, where you can use Harmonic Synchro Fusion with the level 9, or level 7 with the appropriate Earthbound Tuner, to special summon either, or you can Synchro Summon Baron de Fleur, and then Fusion Summon Predaplant Draco Stapelia. But, like I said, if you have ideas what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas decks I can see face each other, or decks I can see be made in the future, feel free to comment down below, and thank you so much for watching.